synthetic electron 3D channel. You know that feeling when something works, but it just barely works? That's where I was with my internal spool holder. For months, every time I reached inside my Centauri Carbon to swap a filament spool, I was blindly fumbling in a dark, tight space, trying to nail a quarter-turn twist lock with zero self-centering. It wasn't broken, it wasn't even particularly annoying most of the time, but it wasn't right. And once you notice that kind of thing, you can't unnotice it. What started as a simple fix turned into something I didn't expect. A complete modular spool management system for the Centauri Carbon, with a couple of rabbit holes I'm still climbing out of. Let's get into it. Before we get into what changed, let me set the stage for anyone new to this design, because the way the system is put together is a little different from what you might expect. It all centers around a single part, the mount. The mount sits in the hole in the panel, the same hole the OEM receiver lives in. And it's a double-sided twist lock interface. On the interior side, there's a smaller receiver that the internal spool holder twists into. On the exterior side, a larger male interface protrudes outward from the panel, and either the retention knob or the external spool holder twists onto that. One part, two interfaces, one hole in the panel, and crucially, no permanent modifications required. The panel has 4 studs around that hole, the ones the OEM receiver originally screws into. I'll be honest, on my first iteration of this design, I pulled those studs right out of one of my own panels. Not my finest moment, but it was a useful lesson because every generation since has used those studs for alignment instead. So now the mount locates positively against the panel. It's fully reversible, and your panel stays exactly as SE3D, as Elegoo made it. Speaking of SE3D, that's this channel, Synthetic Electron 3D, and if you look closely, you'll find it embossed on most of my models. Along with that, I've added a version number directly into this model, so it's easy to tell at a glance exactly which version you're running. It's a small thing, but when you've got a printer farm or you're helping someone troubleshoot, it matters. One thing I'm being intentional about in all this is attempting to keep the twist lock interface itself stable across versions. A lot of you have printed spool holders in different materials, different colors, maybe ASA for heat resistance, or a color that matches your machine. I don't want a minor revision to force you to reprint hardware that's already installed. So the goal with every update is print the new parts you need, keep everything else. One quick note before we get into it. This video is sponsored by Polymaker, who provided the HTPLA and ASA you're going to see throughout. I've been printing these parts in both the materials depending on the use case, and the 3MF I'm releasing includes profiles I've tuned specifically for printing on the ECC1. So if you're running the same setup, you should be able to drop it in and go. Thanks to Polymaker for making that part easy. This gave me a bit more opportunity to dial in the HTPLA settings compared to previous projects that you may have seen in the past. So the print quality is looking better, and I'm still really impressed with the heat deflection performance of the unannealed HTPLA. Now, the problem that started all of this. The inner receiver on the mount already had a cone shape built into it. I designed it that way from the beginning, or at least the beginning of this generation, primarily so it could be printed without supports. But that cone shape has a second job it wasn't being asked to do: self-centering. If the spool holder had a matching cone on its face, the two parts would guide each other into alignment automatically. You just push, feel its seat, and twist. Instead, you had a flat face, the spool holder meeting the flat face of the mount, meaning the entire male twist lock interface had to be nearly perfectly aligned before it could even begin to insert into the receiver. In a tight, dark enclosure with no visual reference, that's a lot to ask. Now, a lot of people use this design with my side panel hinges and just swing the panel fully open to swap spools. Totally valid. It's great workflow. But I like to reach in without opening the side, and in that scenario, the misalignment friction was real and repeatable every single time. The fix is almost embarrassingly simple. Add the matching cone to the spool holder. That's it. The geometry does the work now. As the cone seats, the layer lines on the printed surface give you both tactile and audible feedback. You feel and hear the slight registration as it slides into place. Even so, in a completely dark enclosure, you know you're aligned correctly before you twist, no guessing. Here's what I keep coming back to when I work on problems like this. It's almost never some enormous engineering challenge standing between a good product and a great one. It's the small frictions, the works if you do it exactly right moments, the things that aren't bad enough to complain about, but are just there, quietly draining a tiny bit of energy every single time. Removing those doesn't just make something easier to use, it makes it disappear. And when your tools disappear, you stay in flow. You stay focused on what you're actually trying to do, which in this case is just print parts, not wrestle with your printer. I think about this a lot with 3D printing specifically because so much of the hobby is self-inflicted friction. We accept a lot of good enough because we made the thing ourselves and we know how it works. But there's a version of every single design where it just clicks, literally and figuratively, and getting there is worth the effort. Version 3.6 is me chasing that version of this spool holder. Of course, once I was in there making changes, I found a few other things worth addressing. Previously, if you needed a different length, say you'd installed a thicker panel spacer or you wanted to take advantage of better bed clearance to accommodate wider spools, you had to reprint the entire spool holder body. That's 30 grams or more of material and meaningful print time just to get a different length. That's backwards. The length variability should live in the mount, not the holder. The mount is only 10 to 12 grams. So that's where I moved it. Now you print a different mount for your specific setup, and the spool holder body stays the same. Much more sensible and much more remix friendly if you're adapting this to a different machine or panel thickness. There's an optional channel on the holder designed to hold a short length of PTFE tube. The tube sits there and acts as a low friction surface for the inner bore of the spool to ride on, reducing resistance as the spool rotates for smoother, more consistent filament feed. Another small thing, but it's one of those details that makes a difference over a long print. The problem was, the tube didn't stay in the channel. Not ideal for an optional but recommended feature. That's fixed now. The geometry property retains the tube so it stays put, even when you're swapping spools in and out. Even if you're running without the PTFE tube, I made some refinements to the top geometry of the holder. The radius is smoother for better filament flow off the spool. The bigger change is that the contact area is intentionally minimal. Just a few narrow points where the holder actually touches the spool. Less contact means less drag, which means the spool rotates more freely, and your extruder isn't fighting friction it shouldn't have to fight. Now, about one of those rabbit holes. While I was working on all this, I was also getting more comfortable with CAD, and I started looking at the outside of the machine. That male interface mount just sitting there behind the retention knob and thinking, that's an opportunity. The knob was always just a means to an end, but the same interface could hold something more useful. So I designed an external spool holder that twists onto the outer face of the mount in exactly the same way the knob does. It sits in the same OEM spool holder position, it uses the same interface that's already dialed in, and it turns the Centauri Carbon into a machine that can hold 2 spools at once, one inside, one outside. You might notice this thing is larger in diameter than it strictly needs to be to hold a spool. That's not an accident. I left myself some room to work with inside there. I have plans for that volume. If you've got ideas about what might live in that space, drop them in the comments. I'm genuinely curious what you're thinking. I'll be honest, my original ambition was bigger. I needed a way to mount 3 kilogram spools directly on the machine so I wouldn't have to re-spool them. And I tested it. The holder will take a 3 kilogram spool of PETG-CF without complaint. But the panel can't, not without additional support from the frame, and doing that properly is its own project. So I scoped back to 1 kilogram for now. The holder is solid, the interface is smooth, and it's already more than I set out to build when I started fixing that alignment issue. The 3 kilogram version isn't gone, it's just waiting on the right foundation. For those of you who want to go deeper, modify the design, adapt it to a different printer, or just understand how everything fits together, I'll be publishing the step files on printables for club members. Step files give you full parametric access to the geometry. You're not just remixing a mesh. You're working with the actual design intent. If you want to adjust the cone angle, change the channel dimensions, add a feature, or port this to a completely different machine, that's the place to start. I think open hardware gets better faster when people can actually get into the guts of it. So if you do something interesting with the files, I'd love to see it. Drop it in the comments or tag me. So here's where we landed. A self-centering internal spool holder that you can load blind in the dark with one hand. An external holder that sits in the OEM position and lets you run a second spool on the outside. One twist lock interface dialed in across the whole system, consistent from part to part. The 3MF file is free on printables. Link in the description. It includes the internal holder, all the mount length variants, the retention knob, the external holder, and Polymaker HTPLA and ASA profiles tuned for the ECC1. Up next, I'm going to improve some of the features of my original toolhead cover. After that, I'll reveal what actually will go inside the empty space inside the external spool holder. Then, I'm hoping to move on to the next phase of the toolhead light, so stay tuned for that. If you found this useful, a like goes a long way. It helps other Centauri Carbon users find this, and it tells me this kind of deep dive content is worth making. Questions, feedback, remix ideas, all of that lives in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.